The number of young people unemployed in London is at its highest level for more than a decade. A quarter of 16 to 24-year-olds don't have a job. Well, today, the Labour MP for Tottenham, David Lammy, has claimed that part of the problem is job centres themselves, which he says are failing young people. He joins me now from Westminster, and in the studio we have Matthew Jaffa from the Federation of Small Businesses. Thank you both for talking to us on this. David Lammy, if I can start with you, what do you think the problem is with job centres?
Well, look, each benefit advisor has 168 young people on their books. That's way, way too many to give these vulnerable young people the kind of advice that they need. They're more interested in sanctions, in targets, in penalties than they are in being close to businesses and getting these young people work. So I think we should abolish young people being in these job centres on the high street, give it to local authorities, much closer to business. They know who pays business rates, work with FE colleges and actually support these young people in the way that they need. The figures today are stark and startling, and behind that is the tragedy of many young Londoners sitting in their bedrooms.
Sure. Matthew, what do you think? It's a radical plan? Is it one that could work? Could it help more young people get a job?
Well, it is a radical plan. However, we still think there is a place for Job Centre Plus for young people. There are currently incentives in place for businesses looking to take on an apprentice. They're at £3,000 in the capital. We think these can be extended to help businesses looking to take on people even on the work programme. So it's vital that we help small businesses looking to take on young people. We find incentives for them because the jobs are going to come from small businesses.
But is it the right place? Are they getting the right kind of specific advice? Or as David says, if it was coming from a local authority, would that be better?
Well, what we're seeing is that the Job Centre Plus have introduced a small business recruitment service, and that's what we've been calling for many years. Now that that's in place, we think it'd be the wrong time to pull that away. It could do with a lot more advertising, so we support David in that regard, but what we need to see is greater fiscal incentives, particularly for taking on young people through the work programme and apprenticeships.
David Lammy, have you taken this idea to the government? Because this isn't a solution that presumably you want to bring in if Labour is elected in 2015. It's a solution that needs to start happening now to get these quarter of young people of Londoners back in work.
That's why I'm calling for it today. 2/3 of young people are not satisfied with Job Centre Plus. Only 3% are getting jobs in the current work programme. This is not good enough. Londoners can't afford it. We need action. We need something radically different. And in a sense, when we remember the old Labour exchange, it was connected to local communities. Job Centre Plus has got too remote from jobs, lots of depressed and frustrated young people. We need something different, and that something's got to come now.
We did put your idea to the government today. In response, they said we are absolutely determined to do everything possible to help young people into work. It's really encouraging that there are 79,000 fewer young people claiming job seekers allowance than there were in 2010. What's your reaction to that?
Well, your own figures demonstrate that unemployment is at its highest for young people than it's been in the last 10 years. Many of your viewers will know that they've got either teenagers upstairs in the bedroom, young people watching, unemployed. It's not good enough. And a place that's really about sanctions and filling in forms and not really about proper support and careers advice for young people and getting them into jobs because they're not close to jobs is not what we need in the 21st century.
To both of you really, but I'll start with Matthew. Is it not about the building, but about training people who work in job centres properly to make sure that they're not just saying this is the benefit that you can claim, this is what you can look at a job that's completely not right for you, and make sure that they're focusing on the individual and their skills that they can offer the workplace?
It is, and that's what the Small Business Recruitment Service should be doing. It should be working not only with the business but also the young people as well. But when we see that 1 in 4 of our members has gone to Job Centre Plus in the last couple of years, it's right, David's right, it's not the only show in town, but we need to keep pushing it and ensure that it's not just a simple case for small businesses of word of mouth taking on young people. We need to see Job Centre Plus flourishing.
David, the same point to you. If the job centre workers were trained better in treating people more as individuals rather than saying, fill in this form, this is the benefit you can claim, this is this job that you're not going to want to do.
Well, I was at the Swanley School in Whitechapel. There you've got teachers, it's an outstanding school, teachers with years of training working with a class of 30. 168 caseload for someone working in Job Centre Plus and training of about 6 weeks. Not adequate if we're serious about supporting young people into employment.
OK, David Lammy and Matthew Jaffa, thank you very much for your thoughts on this. Thank you. Watching the ITV News in London.